Published, 22:49 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 27th of June 2018. Updated, 22:50 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 27th of June 2018. Joe Jackson passed away on Wednesday at the age of 89. The patriarch was the driving force behind the hit 1970s band The Jackson 5, as well as the man who helped shape the image of his son Michael Jackson and his daughter Janet, both who turned into global superstars. And soon after news broke that Joe had from pancreatic cancer, Michael's daughter Paris, aged 20, took to Instagram to share a touching tribute for her grandfather. Tribute. Paris Jackson posted a loving tribute to her grandfather Joe Jackson, who passed away at age 89 on Wednesday. Paris posted a picture on her Instagram account of her hand holding Joe's hand in a hospital bed. She captioned it, "Spending those last few moments with you were everything. Being able to tell you everything I needed to tell you before saying goodbye was such a blessing. Everyone that came to visit you, came with love, respect, and so much pride in their hearts for you. You are the first true Jackson, the legend that started it all. None of us would be anywhere near where we're at if it weren't for you. You are the strongest man I know. Your life's work will go down in history, as will you, to be known as one of the greatest patriarchs to ever live. Loving memories." Paris posted a picture on her Instagram account of her hand holding Joe's hand in a hospital bed with a written tribute legend. "You are the first true Jackson, the legend that started it all." She wrote, "I will cherish every moment with you till the day I die, especially our last moments. Being able to hold your hand, lay with you and cuddle you, give you kisses all over your cheeks and forehead, meant more to me than you'll ever know. I have immense gratitude for you, and always will. We all feel that way. Thank you for everything. Truly, rest in peace and transition. I'll see you in my dreams very very soon." Paris' father Michael, who had the monster hits Thriller, Beat It and The Man in the Mirror, on June 25, 2009. Respect. Prince Jackson shared a touching tribute for his grandfather Joe after the patriarch on Wednesday at the age of 89 after his shock passing. Prince went to live with his grandmother Catherine along with Paris and Blanket. He also spent plenty of time with Joe. Joe's other famous daughter, LaToya Jackson, shared a tweet about her father. Tragedy. His death comes almost 9 years to the day that his son Michael passed away on June 25, 2009. Jackson and his son Michael in 2005. Above, I will always love you, she wrote. You gave us strength. You made us one of the most famous families in the world. I am extremely appreciative of that. I will never forget our moments together and how you told me how much you cared. RIP Joe Jackson. Joe's grandson, Taj Jackson, his father is Toriano Tito Jackson, hit out ATS. When the kids were younger they wore masks, seen in 2009. Disgusted by some of the comments I'm reading about my grandpa Joe by those who didn't even know him, Taj wrote. Please don't just regurgitate what you were spoon-fed by the press. Joe was loved by our entire family and our hearts are in pain. Let us grieve without the nastiness. Rip the Hawk. A family source tells DailyMail.com that Jackson, who had his wife Catherine by his side when he passed away, faded into unconsciousness on Tuesday. Catherine made the decision to move Jackson into hospice care over the weekend as his health began to rapidly decline. The patriarch of the Jackson family had voiced his desire to hold on through Monday, said the family source, which marked the 9th anniversary of his son's death. The kids Michael left behind. Prince with Blanket and Paris at the Michael Forever tribute concert at the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff in 2011. Jackson and his wife had been living apart for the past few years following a tumultuous 69-year relationship during which Jackson fathered a love child, had multiple affairs and was accused of abusing the couple's children. Jackson had been ailing for months, but took a turn for the worse in the past 2 weeks according to sources close to the family. His famous family all clambered to be by the bedside of the sickly father of 11, but Jackson's handlers allegedly barred some family members from visiting him, including his wife Catherine and oldest child Rebbe. For 4 days, his sons and daughters were locked in heated discussions, unsure what was going on and pleading to see their father. DailyMail.com later learned that following an emergency Jackson family meeting and desperate pleas to Jackson's manager, Charles Coupe, family members were finally granted access to the octogenarian last Tuesday night. It is understood that he suffered from a form of dementia and had suffered several strokes in recent years. Catherine, daughters Rebbe and Giovanni and granddaughter Yashi Brown were among those who visited with Jackson in his final days. At the same time, the Jackson family struggled to gain medical information about the dying man. A source close to Joe's daughter Janet confirmed that she too had been denied access to see her father in recent days. His daughters, Jo with LaToya, left, and Janet, right, in Los Angeles in 1983, and Jo's other daughter Giovanni Jackson, the product of an extramarital affair, had also been barred from seeing her dad despite being very close to him and living nearby in Vegas, claimed the source. Jackson's son Jermaine confirmed the odd situation when approached by DailyMail.com. No one knew what was going on. We shouldn't have to beg, plead, and argue to see our own father, especially at a time like this, he said. Tribute. Randy Jackson Jr. remembered his grandfather with a social media post on Wednesday above, "We have been hurting. We were not being told where he was and couldn't get the picture. Even from the doctor. My mother was worried sick." Jermaine, 63, added at the time, "He's very, very frail. He doesn't have long. The family needs to be by his bedside. That's our only intention in his final days. It's what any family would want, but some people around him think they know better. And they don't. RIP. Jo above in 2014 has passed away at the age of 89, 1 week after he was hospitalized with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Jackson guided his children to unprecedented success as the Jackson 5 after his own attempt at stardom did not pan out with his band The Falcons. Prior to that, Jackson had attempted to forge a career as a professional boxer after his 1949 wedding to Catherine. He was born Fountain Hill, Arkansas, just 1 year before the Great Depression, to Samuel Jackson, a university professor who was the son of a slave. Video courtesy of Liam Cohen. He was the oldest of 5 children, and at the age of 12 moved to California with his father when his parents split. His mother and other 4 siblings all moved to Chicago, with Jackson later joining them at the age of 18 when his father remarried. That is when he began to pursue boxing, having dropped out of high school, and was briefly married to another woman before divorcing her and then pursuing a relationship with Catherine Screws. Her tribute. Jo's other famous daughter, LaToya Jackson, shared a tweet about her father. "I will always love you," she wrote. "You gave us strength. You made us one of the most famous families in the world." The two married soon after and he got a job at Inland Steel as a crane operator. 1 year later, the couple had their first of 10 children, daughter Rebby. It was in the early 1960s that he began to create what would become the Jackson 5, which initially consisted of his 3 eldest sons, Jackie, Tito and Jermaine. The boys were known as the Jackson Brothers and forced to spend most of their free time practicing as Jackson demanded perfection. Rhythm Nation. The patriarch of the Jackson family led his children to remarkable success in the music industry, particularly son Michael and daughter Janet. Janet and her father. In 2000 the group then became the Jackson 5 when Marlon and Michael joined as backup singers. All that practice did pay off, however, and the group found success on the road before drawing the attention of Gordon Keith, who released the group's first single in 1968 with Michael as the lead singer. That was the beginning of the group's ascent, which all culminated with the boys being signed to Motown Records and the release of their first album, Diana Ross Presents the Jackson 5. Family Man. Jackson himself had given verbal instructions making clear he did not want visitors or family members to see him at his medical records in his final weeks. Jackson with his sons. In 1970, the support of that A-list singing star catapulted the group, whose hits included ABC, You'll Be There and I Want You Back. By that time the family was living in California, and after 6 years with Motown the boys signed an even more lucrative deal with Epic while Jackson began to send his 3 daughters Rebby, Janet and LaToya out on the road to perform. Janet's ascent began in 1982, and for the next 2 decades she was a fixture on the pop charts alongside her brother Michael, who had gone solo by that point. At the same time, Jackson's reputation began to tarnish as details of his abhorrent behavior towards his children and extramarital affairs began to emerge. It was also revealed that Catherine had filed for divorce in 1973 because of her husband's infidelity but later withdrew those papers. 1 year later he welcomed his 11th child, Giovanni, with his mistress Cheryl Terrell. Jackson and Terrell went on to have a relationship for 25 years, and in 1982 Catherine once again filed for divorce before once again deciding to opt out of the proceedings at the last second. In 2002, he was also inducted into the Rock and Hall of Fame as the best entertainment manager of all time. The Way They Were. Randy Jr. also shared an image of Jackson and wife Catherine above.